Hello and welcome back to the Watford Way. I wouldn't go as far to say that the next week is going to be season defining, but the next week will certainly have a big impact on where Watford finish before the coming international break. Two away games against Sheffield Wednesday and Swansea set up a home tie against Oxford United on Friday night live on Sky Sports in what is set to be a really big week for Watford Football Club's season. For me personally, I'm hoping we can finally stop our away ruts and pick up a couple of good results away from home. And at Vicarage Road as well, hopefully we can continue our good home form under Tom Cleverley. I believe it will be 12 games unbeaten if we draw or beat Oxford at Vicarage Road on Friday, live on Sky Sports. If you're new around here, welcome to the Watford Way. My name is James and we cover all things Watford Football Club. We're here on YouTube and we also have various pages on Instagram, on Twitter, on Facebook, and of course here on YouTube. So if you haven't already, please hit subscribe down below. And at the end of the video, let me know your score prediction in the comments section too. So let's take a look at Watford's next two away fixtures, one of which we'll be talking about briefly in today's match preview. And the first is Sheffield Wednesday on Saturday afternoon at 3 p.m. Sheffield Wednesday are a very intriguing team. If you cast your minds back, all the way back to the latter end of last season, Sheffield Wednesday looked destined for relegation to League One. But a certain man named Danny Roll come in, saved the day, and actually got them playing some pretty good football. Sheffield Wednesday this season aren't doing particularly fantastically well, but equally, they're nowhere near a relegation battle at the moment either, which I'm sure their fans will be pleased about. They sit about 13th in the table, I think 5 or 6 points behind Watford. And look, don't get me wrong, it's not going to be a particularly easy game. However, I do have faith in Tom Cleverley and the lads that finally, fingers crossed, we can stop our terrible away ruts. Now, looking further ahead in Watford's fixtures and the next three, of course, Sheffield Wednesday is the next game coming up. But then Watford go away to Swansea on Tuesday night. Then on Friday night at Vicarage Road, we play Oxford United. So I think for me personally, it would be silly of me to sit here and not talk about the fixture difficulty. Now, of course, I spoke about fixture difficulty before and I've been a bit bullish in some of my predictions. I went into the Luton game very, very confidently and we actually lost that quite comfortably by 3-0. So by no means is any championship game easy. However, I do look at Sheffield Wednesday, I do look at Swansea, I do look at Oxford, who have had a good start to the season themselves. And I do think that Watford could potentially get 2 wins and a draw potentially out of them 3 games. So I think if we come away from them unscathed, that puts us in a fantastic position. Tom Cleverley has openly said himself in the past week or so that before the next international break, the November break, he wants to see Watford cement a place in them top 6 positions. And as I say, looking at them fixtures, maybe I am too overly optimistic. And if you are an opposition fan, please do humble me in the comments section. But I just look at them teams, you know, Sheffield Wednesday, Swansea, Oxford. Yes, I haven't particularly done much research, but the names historically they're not particularly strong championship teams. So yeah, as a Watford fan, I have to back ourselves going into this Sheffield Wednesday game. Now, taking a quick look at some of their previous results. On the 2nd of October, they picked up a 0-0 draw with Bristol City. Sheffield Wednesday then beat Coventry away from home by 2-1. They lost to Burnley quite comfortably by 2-0. But I think most teams in the Championship will be losing to Burnley this season, so it's nothing to be too worried about if you're a Sheffield Wednesday fan. They then drew 0-0 at home to Swansea City, beat Portsmouth by 2-1. Portsmouth are a bit like Sheffield Wednesday last season, where they looked destined for relegation already. And then their last game, Sheffield Wednesday, was the EFL Cup round of 16 clash against Brentford, where unfortunately they lost that tie on a penalty shootout. So I think Watford go into this game certainly with the advantage. I think clearly we have the more talented players. I think also to our advantage is the fact that Sheffield Wednesday did play that League Cup tie during the week. So I know it's a cliche to say, but Watford have had that extra couple of days of recovery compared to Sheffield Wednesday. I don't know how particularly strong their squad was against Brentford, but regardless, their players will still be mentally fatigued and physically tired after that tie. So I think that will play into Watford's advantage as well. I've got a tweet here from Andrew French, who is a journalist at the Watford Observer. He was in Tom Cleverley's press conference today and asked him about some injury news, and it's not looking particularly good on the injury front for Watford. Jeremy Ngakia, our right back, is still out injured. There's not really been much more detail other than that, which is a shame. We've not seen him since, I believe, August. Now, of course, Jeremy Ngakia signed a new contract quite recently at the club. But I think for me, his career at Watford isn't viable going forward. We have Ryan Andrews and Festia Basele in them two right fullback positions. You have Yasser Larouchi, Ken Sema and James Morris who can play on the left. And I think Jeremy Ngakia, I think his time is coming to an end. I think he needs a new environment to play in. The recurring injuries are just not helpful to Watford at all. I think the best attribute a player can have is availability. And Jeremy Ngakia can't offer that to Watford. So for me personally, if I had the opportunity, I would sell or release Jeremy Ngakia in the January transfer window, because I don't think he can stay fit enough for long enough to offer Watford a viable option in that position. So I do think that's a shame about Jeremy Ngakia and that he still isn't available. Tom Dele-Bashiru is still out with his knee injury that he picked up against Luton Town on Derby Day, and he won't play for the next week, according to Tom Cleverley. So that's potentially another 3 fixtures missed for Tom Dele-Bashiru, which is of course going to be a big miss in that midfield area. But of course that gives the option for someone like Imran Louza or Pierre Duomo to come in alongside Musa Sissoko. So I'd expect to see some rotation in them midfield areas. Of course, Kayembe and Tom Ince can also drop deeper into that midfield, so it'll be interesting to see how Tom Cleverley rotates that. I do think Musa Sissoko cannot play 3 games in 6 days. So yeah, as I said, I do think we'll see some heavy rotation in them midfield positions. Kevin Caben may be available for some of the coming fixtures, which is really, really exciting. He's our new pacey centre-back we brought in from France during the summer. We've not seen any first team football from Kevin Caben yet, but Tom Cleverley is saying that he's impressing in training, and yeah, obviously that he's very, very quick in his recovery runs. So I'm very excited to see Kevin Caben when he eventually features, hopefully in the next week or so. Matty Pollock has some elbow ligament damage that he picked up in the last home fixture. If you stayed actually at the end of the game, you would have seen Matty Pollock had a massive ice pack around his elbow, which was quite concerning to see from the stands. He played on during the match, put in a very good performance. And yeah, Matty Pollock should be okay. Just a little bit of minor elbow damage. And the last bit of news is around Daniel Jefferson, who Tom Cleverley has confirmed will see some match minutes this week. For me personally, I would start Daniel Jefferson in maybe 2 of the 3 games Watford have coming up. But yeah, looking at what Tom Cleverley has done before, I do think he will edge on the side of caution and will probably play either Kwadwo Bar up front or most likely Vacuum Bio actually in that number 9 position. So that is the Watford injury news. In terms of my score prediction for the game, I said earlier, I want to back the boys and back Tom Cleverley for the next week or so. 3 very winnable fixtures: Oxford, Swansea, Sheffield Wednesday. I want at least 6 points from 9, if not 7 points from 9. 2 wins and a draw I would be very, very happy with. And I do think Watford, on our day, are capable of doing that. It's just whether we can stop our terrible, terrible run away from home. Just to remind you, if you haven't realised already, Watford haven't won an away game since the opening day against Millwall. And that game itself was a last-minute Mileta Rajovic winner. So we're desperate for some away goals. We're desperate for 3 points away from home as well. And I'm backing us to do that on Saturday. So I'm going to go with a Daniel Batman clean sheet to increase his confidence. And I'm going to go with a Quadway Bar 1-0 goal, a wonder goal, edge of the box, top bins. And yeah, hopefully Watford will stop our away rut against Sheffield Wednesday. So let me know your thoughts on the game in the comments section down below. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel, and we should be here live at 3 p.m. for a watch along as well. So if you're not attending the game, please do keep an eye out for our live stream on Saturday afternoon. Apart from that, enjoy the rest of your evenings. I'm recording this on Halloween, so if you are celebrating, happy Halloween. And yes, I'll see you again on Saturday afternoon. Bye bye.